Hello and welcome to this Wednesday morning reflection. A parable is simply a story that demonstrates and teaches a moral or spiritual lesson. And Jesus often taught using parables. There are a number of very well-known parables in the Bible, but maybe one of the better known is the parable of the sower. It's found in 3 of the 4 Gospels in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It goes like this. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. Whilst we know this parable as the parable of the sower, I sometimes think that it should in actual fact be called the parable of the soil, because the sower remains the same. And I'm assuming that the seed remains the same. But there is a significant difference with the soil. Now, when Jesus told this parable, he was referring to a person's openness to hearing and receiving the Christian message. I don't want to take away from that original context and meaning in any way. But it also strikes me that we could apply this principle to numerous aspects of our lives. Our openness to others, our willingness to learn, to be molded by life's experiences. There is an imagery here that asks the question, what kind of soil are you? Is your life represented by the hard ground, where the seed lay exposed and in no time was stolen away? Or maybe the ground isn't solid, but it's full of stones, with little soil for the seeds of life to take root. There are simply too many stones. Unforgiveness, worries, distractions, other stuff that crowds in on your life and pulls you away from what is important, so that there is little fulfillment or satisfaction in your soul. Maybe the soil of your life is good soil, a bit like my garden. You don't really tend it very well, and thorns and weeds take over and choke out the good stuff. Maybe you allow the words and actions of others to define and shape who you are, and you forget that you are unique. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Or finally, the good soil. Now, I don't think the good soil is indicative of a life free of worry, pain, or hardship, but it is representative of a well-maintained life. A life that is open and teachable. I wonder where you see yourself. Maybe you are a student and you can view this in the context of your teachability. What kind of soil are you? Maybe you're part of a work team. How receptive and moldable are you in that context? Maybe it's the role you play within your family structure. Is your life good soil? Or maybe, just maybe, it's your openness and sensitivity to the question of faith. See you next week.